Hi there. If you're watching this video, then you're certainly on this planet with the rest of us. Then that will also mean that you should be aware of how the world is changing right now, especially politically, and on the matter of immigration as well. In this video, I would want to talk about how you can um, change your visitor's visa or tourist visa to a work visa or to a pathway of visa that allows you to live and work in Germany or in Europe, as the case may be. Yeah. Before I proceed, my name is Mark. For you lot that don't already know, I am currently in Germany. I used to live in England, but at the moment I have been living. At the moment I live in Germany. I've been in Germany for a minute now. Yeah, so if you live in Europe, and you're grown, you're an adult, you live by yourself, you have responsibilities, then you would be aware of how the world is changing on immigration wise. And these days, it's becoming increasingly more difficult for people from third world country to get visa to travel, and even visas that offer them options or opportunities to travel and go on to settle in these European countries or Western countries is increasingly being becoming difficult to obtain. Or even if you are able to obtain it, it's now becoming, like very expensive. Do you know what I mean? And not everyone right now can afford to, you know, finance such type of visa that allows them to travel abroad and easily settle and go on to becoming a citizen of the country. Yeah, so that's why in this video I will be talking about how you can convert your visitor's visa or tourist visa to a work visa that will allow you to live and work in Germany or in Europe. Before I proceed, I would like to make it clear that not everything you hear that is not black should be white, and not everything you hear that is not white should be black. Do you know what I mean? Meaning, if in other words, if something is not true, that should not necessarily mean it's wrong, and if something is wrong, should not necessarily mean is right. Do you know what I mean? There are always gray areas to almost everything, to a lot of things, and I would want you to approach things in this with this mindset. Do you know what I mean? For I've been in Europe for well over 15 years now. Do you know what I mean? And I now think in this time that I've been in Europe has afforded me the right to to speak on this matter. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so whenever you hear anyone talk about immigration cases, maybe a case of someone they know from their friend or from their past life. Do you know what I mean? Is when they talk about their experiences about immigrations, how someone get deported or how someone lived in the country for 15 years or 10 years or 20 years, and at the end of the day they get deported. You should not always take those things as facts as if they apply to everyone. Do you know what I mean? It should, when you listen to stories like this, you should take them on face value or apply them on case to case basis. Like situations like that apply to whoever that situation happened to. Do you know what I mean? You should not take it as if that is the rule of that's the law. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, when people tell you, "Oh, don't go to Germany," or "Do not invest in Germany," because they know someone that invested in Germany, and after 20, 30 years of living in Germany, they deported them and they revoked their document and deported them back to wherever country they came from. When you hear talks like this, you should not assume, you should not believe that's how things work. Do you know what I mean? There are a lot of situations that people get themselves into, and at the end of the day, when the consequences comes, and then Or you hear them say, oh, that country, Germany is bad. They did this to me, they did that to me. I had kids in Germany, and at the end of the day, I got deported. You hear some people say things like that. You should not hear these things and just come to a conclusion that Germany or UK or wherever they're talking about is a bad place. Do you know what I mean? Everyone have their unique path in life. Do you know what I mean? And the laws, especially in Germany that I've been in. In Germany, I've worked in different industries. Do you know what I mean? And I have also owned businesses. I've run businesses in Germany. I currently also have businesses that I'm running, which is in real estate. I do Airbnb. We also do car rentals as well. You know what I mean? We do short time rental as well. And yeah, so when I talk about about these cases, it's not I'm speaking from a place of experience. Do you know what I mean? I've come across people as well that will tell me, oh, I don't have I would like to rent your room, but they don't have the proper documentation to rent a room. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen all kinds of cases. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I would tell you, if you're living in Germany or you're planning to come to Germany with a tourist visa or a visitor's visa, and you want to convert this visa to a work visa that allow you to live in Germany and work in Germany or in any European country, you can. This also would my work in England or France or Denmark or anywhere. Do you know what I mean? But the least you can do is try. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. So if you come to Germany, you have a tourist visa or you have a visitor's visa. There are different ways that you can approach it. Also, depending on the state where you're living or the town where you're living in. Do you know what I mean? Because I've seen cases where I've had people say, oh, in order for you to get German citizenship, you must have lived in Germany for 5 years. You must have worked for 5 years as well. Do you know what I mean? But I've seen people in Germany that got citizenship they've not lived in Germany for up to 5 years. I've seen people that have lived in Germany, they've gotten their permanent residency, they've not worked for up to 5 years. Do you know what I mean? So if you're living in Germany, you you've been you've not committed any offense. Yes, you need to be in Germany for 5 years to get citizenship. That's the law. But in most cases, when you approach your local foreigners office and you apply, even if you've not been living in Germany for up to 5 years, you apply and you've been living in the country for 3 years or 3.5 years, and yeah, you can show your at the time where you're applying for you're putting in the application, you have a job, you're working, you're not depending on the state. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, you've always been working, you've not depended you've not collected benefits. You should apply even if you've not lived in the country for up to 5 years. You should not always listen to people when they say things, when they make statements like, oh, it's impossible for you to get permanent residence or citizenship if you've not lived in the country for 5 years. You can apply if you've lived in the country. I, I will encourage you to apply if you've lived in the country for 4 years or 3.5 years at least. Do you know what I mean? And you have German language certificate. You don't need to have B1. If you have A2, you should apply. The worst they can do is say no. Do you know what I mean? The worst they can do is say no. And the same thing applies as well to people that come here with a visitor's visa or tourist visa. You know, first thing first, let me get one thing clear. I'm not encouraging you to commit a crime. If you go commit a crime, you will be arrested and you will face the law. You will go to prison. But if you there are ways you can approach these things without committing a crime. You have a visitor's visa or you have a tourist visa. For example, you're living in some city and say you're living in Stuttgart. First of all, I will even advise you not to if you come to Germany with a visitor's or tourist visa and you want to follow this route, you should not live in major cities. You should go to small towns. For example, if you're in Baden-Württemberg, you're in Stuttgart. instead of you living in Stuttgart City, it will be difficult for you to get access to the immigration officers in Stuttgart City. Do you know what I mean? Because they're always busy. So it will be highly unlikely for you to see someone face to face. Do you know what I mean? I would advise you to go to small towns like Ludwigsburg or Bittigen or Weiblingen or Leonberg. You know, small towns like that. You would be able to see someone face to face and explain your situation to them. Now, how you can go about this? You're in Germany. You have a visitor's visa. It's still valid. You can approach any school. There are a lot of private schools that have admission open for the whole year. So anytime you go there, you will always get admission as long as you can pay the fees and tuition as well. But the tuition in Germany is not expensive. If you want to go through the public school route, tuition is free. But if you want something right now, you're desperate, you can approach those private universities. Tuition is usually around 1,000, 2,000 euro upward. Do you know what I mean? Depending on the school. But if you approach any of this school, you pay the fees, instantly they'll give you an admission letter. You take this admission letter to your local foreigners office. They can, depending on who is attending to you, they should convert your visa to a student visa, and they will, if they will do that, they will tell you to show proof of fund that you're able to take care of yourself, and you will not be a burden to the state, which will be in the form of block account. And if you don't have the block account, should be around 11,500 or 12,000 max should cover it. But if you don't have this money to show that you can take care of yourself, if you have a relative in Germany that is a settled person that have a spare room in their home that they can accommodate you, you can ask this relative of yours to stand in for you as a sponsor. I mean, if they can stand in for you as a sponsor, that also count as security as well. Yeah, that's one way to look at to approach it. You know what I mean? Another way you can approach it would be, say you're in Germany in a small town. Another way I would approach it is, if I have money and I go to, you get a lawyer and you tell them you want to start up a business. But that, you need to have money for that. You know what I mean? You need to have money. Say you want to start up a business, you can approach a lawyer, they will help you do the paperwork, and you can get a resident permit. I think the last time I know someone done something like that is about, they had about 200,000 euros, and they were allowed to stay. They were given resident visa to their visa. They were given a different type of visa to be able to conduct their business in Germany. Do you know what I mean? Another thing you can do as well, but this only applies to people that feel that if you feel that your life is in danger, that means if you return to your home country, your life will be in danger. You run a risk of losing your life. You can apply for asylum. Now, the asylum the asylum climate in Germany right now is tough. Do you know what I mean? The German government is not leaning to asylum applicant at all. Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to apply for asylum, you need to make sure your case is airtight. You have evidence to back up your claim. If you have evidence to back up your asylum claim, that shows that your life is in danger. If you've been attacked before, you have evidence of injury or police report or hospital report to prove that you've been treated due to wherever is chasing you from, whoever you are, if it's based because of your sexuality or your religious belief or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And you can prove, you can prove it. Especially if your situation is one of them ones that can be verified through third-party independent news platforms. Then you're good, man. Do you know what I mean? But if you have evidences to prove that your life is in danger, your visitor's visa or tourist visa will be taken and you will be processed into the country where they take your fingerprint, they give you free accommodation. You live in this free accommodation for a while. While they process you into the country, as soon as they process you, they give you a new ID. This new ID at some point will require can will be you will be able to go and look for jobs, right? Which means you have a work permit. Now, if you get a job, you will. There's a form you get from your foreigners office that you give to your employer, and they fill out this form. You take this form back to your foreigners office, and they will approve that job, which is the work permit will be on that particular job. Do you know what I mean? So your employer fill out the form. Most employers have this form in their offices anyways. So if you go to them, you tell them you're an asylum seeker, they most of them have these forms. So they just fill it out for you. You take it to the foreigners office, and they approve it. And the process is they will definitely approve it. The only reason why they might not approve it is if the distance to the job and from to where you live is far, like 100 kilometers away, then they will not approve it. But in most German towns, you can find work. It's not a difficult thing to find work. You know what I mean? So they will definitely approve it, and then you start working, and then you see you've gone to from having a visitors or tourist visa to now having work permit. But this is only the beginning of your situation in Germany. It's only the beginning. You having work permit and you working, that is just the beginning, because the most important thing is for you to be aware, do not get carried away that your asylum application is being processed, and your time is ticking. So you need to have a strategy. First of all, before you apply your asylum application, you need to have a strategy before you go and make an application, because if you don't have good planning, your asylum will be refused, even if you have legitimate grounds to claim an asylum. Do you know what I mean? So it's good for you to have good strategy. If you can approach a lawyer and get legal advice, that would be brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, these are ways how you can convert your visitors visa or tourist visa to a work visa that allows you to live in Germany. So if you have any other ideas that how it might work, I will be more than happy to discuss that further with you on the chat. You can just on the comment section. You can just talk about it, and we'll carry on the conversation in the comment section. Yeah. So again, this is not a video advising you, encouraging you to go commit crime. There are people that have come to this country. The government are aware that there are people living in this country that have overstayed their visa, and the moment they get caught, they will be deported. So if you come here with a visitor's visa or tourist visa and you overstay your visa, that is you committing a crime. And the day you get caught, you will be deported back to your country, man. Do you know what I mean? So I would strongly advise you, do not overstay your visa. Whatever you do not overstay your visa. Do you know what I mean? You should adhere to the conditions of your visa. You should leave when you say you're going to leave. That way you always have opportunity to come back. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, in terms of you settling in Germany, whatever visa type you have, don't ever let anyone tell you, oh, it's impossible for you. There's always a way, man. It's only if you're willing to find the way, but there is always a way. You should always have that mindset to think cognitively. Do you know what I mean? It's you should not always take when something is true, will not necessarily mean it's false. If something is not true, does not necessarily mean it's false, and if something is false, does not necessarily mean you know it's true. If you get what I'm trying to say, if someone is telling you, oh, I know someone, something, this happened to them, that happened to them, that is them. Do you know what I mean? Your situation is different. Whatever you think you want to do, always give it a try. The least they can do, the most they can do is say no. And if they say no, they'll tell you why they say no. And you can go back and work on the reasons why they say no and come back and make it happen. Do you know what I mean? This is German immigration are friendly people. They're unlike UK BA, UK Home Office. Do you know what I mean? You have nothing to fear with German immigration. You can literally walk into the office and ask them questions, and they will answer you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, if you have any question, man, just let me know. Message me, email me, whatever, and I will be more than happy to get back to you as soon as I can. And on that note, I will see you in the next video. Have a nice one. Bye.